This is laughable, Mr. President. We talk about integrity, we talk about trust. We haven't really talked about consistency necessarily. However, I find it lacking in all the above. I can almost guarantee you that the previous decision, before the one that was just made, was done as an attack against colleagues that I tend to agree with most of the time. That's not only disheartening, but it is, I don't even have a word for it. To say that we are the upper chamber, that we're the deliberative body, making it seem like we know better than everybody else, I couldn't disagree more. If we look at the original bill, which I just looked at it today, has to do with municipal franchise fees for video service providers. That's pretty clear. Then, when you look at the substitute that was just laid on our desk today, may have a lot of good things in it. I don't know, because I didn't look at it really closely. But we're being asked today to pass a substitute bill that has how many different things in it? I'm going to count from a spreadsheet that was given to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 8 additional components. Now, again, the original bill was relating to municipal franchise fees for video service providers. And then we have additions extending a sunset on uniform small wireless facility deployment, reimbursing the cost for utility facility relocation, assessment of solar energy property, assessment of stationary property, broadband grant deduction, sales tax exemption for utilities, tax exemptions for broadband communication service equipment, sewer services. Wait a minute, are you trying to tell me that the municipal franchise fees for video service providers has to do with sewer providers, sewer services? Now, if somebody in their right mind, if they're thinking that all this cobbled together in this way does not violate the single subject rule, how in the world did you get to the Senate? And that's not a rhetorical question. I'm seriously asking, if you can't understand what the municipal franchise fees for video service providers are, and then sewer services, and they're not the same, then why are you here? But yet, the President Pro Tem just ruled against a point of order, stating pretty clearly, I think, that we violated our oath in the Constitution to stick with a single subject bill. The bill, again, I'm going to reiterate, it was relating to municipal franchise fees for video service providers. And then we add all this sludge. Yeah, sludge, because we've got sewer services in there. Sewers capture sludge. Wow. I'm just telling you, these are days that really make my mind start to wonder, why in the heck are we here doing what we're doing? Now, I don't discount that these are probably important things. But why did we stop early on many days? At least a half a dozen times this year, we stopped early. Now, maybe they were for good reason. Maybe not. And we don't entertain these bills independently of each other so that we can say, yeah, we know what this bill is about. If there's something hidden, we could probably flesh it out a little more easily than what we've got here in about 40 pages. Now, that's pretty short, really, when you consider some of the bills that we passed in the hundreds. I'm just trying as I'm speaking here, throwing a few things around in my mind. Do I just say, I'm going to take this defeat, sit down and shut up as some people want me to do? Or do I look under my desk here and find an assortment of reading material that I could go all day? Or maybe better, do I read this Constitution that I've got marked up all over the place that it seems like we've been complicit in purposely violating our own oath to follow this Constitution. While I was in the house, I no longer have that copy with me. I ripped out a section. Because we didn't follow it. So why don't we amend this Constitution? Why don't we amend our rules to say anything goes? We can put anything in bills. It doesn't matter if it's related. It doesn't matter if it violates any rules. It doesn't matter if the people can do it themselves. Why don't we do that? I'm hesitant to file a resolution like that because it might be done. And then we'll be just like the United States House of Representatives, which has no such rules. Yeah, they've suggested that happen, introduced those rules, but I don't think they'll ever pass it because they don't want to be constrained. If we're not constrained, if we don't set up guardrails, which we have, if we don't use these guardrails that are established, and anything goes, woe be to liberty. Woe be to freedom. I would suggest that if somebody's listening out here and they are concerned in the least that we support our oath and follow the Constitution and adhere to the rules that we have agreed to, and we discount and disregard the very oath that we swore to uphold, I'd say they ought to take action to remove every single one of us. Yeah, I believe that's true. If we don't use good sense, I mean, I took a sample like this to a high school class a few years ago. And I didn't tell them anything about the Constitution. I didn't tell them anything about the rules that we're supposed to be living under. And near the end of the exercise, what we were doing was passing a bill. And we had some things in there that were added that had nothing to do with the original bill. And these students started asking one another in a debate-like fashion, wait a minute, what does that have to do with the original bill? Oh, I was thrilled. I couldn't have been more proud of these students. For you see, high school students, they know we're adults, and we know too. Why is it so confoundingly difficult to know to do right, but not do it? That's a confounding question that I'll probably never have the answer to. But I know deep down in our hearts, we know. We know what's right. And then we have the audacity to go back to our districts during the weekends, during the interim, and we totally fabricate what we did. Might take a little piece out of a bill. Yeah, we did something good. But look at the overall effect. This is tantamount to taking the liberties away from our people. We're not kings. We're not queens. We have no right whatsoever to violate our oath. And I've had conversations with people behind closed doors who say, yeah, you're right. You're right, Senator. But I've got to get a bill passed. Well, confound it. Let's push for single subject bills. That's all we have to do. Bring a bill singly, like 2057. Pass it, and it's done. I'm sure the representative would like that. I'm sure many senators would like that. And thanks to the peanut gallery, there is some confirmation on that. I'm going to miss her. So now what do we do? I know there's some good things that need to be done. But I'm conflicted here, Mr. President. I'm thinking to myself, why continue with this menagerie that we have put together to fool the people who voted for us, who elected us to represent them, and then we come here and totally disregard our promises? I think it was Rod Jetton. He's now back in the House helping the Speaker. He said something to me and a group of us probably, I don't know, 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago. Others have said the same thing. He said, pull out your push cards that you used when you first ran for office. Look at the promises you made. He said, keep those promises. Senators, what are the promises that we've made? What are the promises we made not only to ourselves, but those who voted for us, who elected us to come and represent them in the Senate? Have we kept those promises? I think we all know the answer. When we look at bills such as the one that's before us and see the difference, the complexities that have been added to it, and I'm not saying the first bill was not complex, because it looks like there are some things in there that need to be considered. But as I look at it, the changes were not that many. It was a few changes to current statute. And I'm beyond belief thinking that we think it's okay. I don't think it's okay. Whether you're in the lobby group, or whether you're here in the chamber, or whether you're back home someplace, if you look at what we're doing, you ought to be ashamed at what we're doing. Because we're not upholding our oath to anybody except maybe a special interest, and that should not happen. Now, I'm telling you, there are some good special interests out there. But there are others who probably need to take some lessons. And if your paycheck depends upon you getting a bill passed, this is not the way to do it. This is not the way to do this. And I'm not going to stand for it. And I'm not going to sit for it either. Now, there may be something coming around to help make this better. I hope it is. I haven't seen it yet. But we've got to strip everything out except the original bill. I'd be for that. Will we? I don't know. Will we get back to the original purpose? The original purpose is relating to municipal franchise fees for video service providers. If we would do that, I think we could all be content and happy with passing the bill as it is. Now, are there good things in the substitute? Yeah, probably are. But they don't relate directly to the original bill. And that's why I'm standing. And then, the point of order was not well taken. The previous point of order was, and I agreed with that too, this is no different. We violated Rules 54 and 57. We violated Article 3, Sections 21 and 23, all mentioned in Rules 54 and 57. And we've also violated Article 3, Section 38A, which in this provision requires municipalities to use public money to repay private entities. I'm going to just read Article 3, Section 38A. I haven't done that yet this year. This is a good one. And I'm telling you what, when we get to the budget bills, this is out there because I found some places, multiple places, that if we're going to pass a budget bill that violates your Constitution, I'm not going to stand for that either. So budget appropriations, I hope you're listening. Go look for all those public funds going to private entities. You better strip them out, or they ain't going to happen on my watch.
Mr. President.